webcam is not working. There we go. Is there? There we go. Yo, yo, yo! Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bear's live stream. Welcome to the stream. Hola, buenos noches. Buenos noches, amigos y papeleras y bolígrafos y hamburguesas y bocadillos. Buenos noches. Man like Donnell. What are you saying, brother? How's it going, buddy? Been enjoying our chats of late, not gonna lie. What are we saying then? Back on this. Get in there, bro. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there. There we go. Oh, one last one. There we go. 13 BTR. I'm excited. Ordered my Helix processor and my sub. Yo! Freaking let's go! That is sick. Good job. What Helix processor did you go for? I'm gassed. I'm well excited for you, buddy. I'm excited for you, buddy. I hope that you enjoy. Now, what's going on with this? There's like not enough screws in there. Can't put screws in that side because that's the other way around, hey? What's up with that? Alex, still need to send my amp to you. Hey, no drama, buddy. What amp is it? Can't remember. I used to have Planet Audio Big Bang 2400. I suspect that Planet Audio weren't always terrible. I imagine that they got bought out or started to get made elsewhere. That was not so great. Got the Pro Mark III, nice, with the Bluetooth HEC. Oh, so you can completely bypass y'all any head unit or anything like that. That's pretty dope. And the sub is a Stereo Integrity HS24. Holy crap, what are you planning to do with that? Is that going in for the baffle? Is that going in an enclosure? Wow, man, that's the stuff that I would buy. That's the stuff that I would buy. Man's doing man's dream build right here. What kind of amp would you recommend for my Black Brick Audio brick house? 3K RMS woofer. I would get something like a Smart 5 or a Paros PW 5K. What are we saying? Is there one last screw? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Smart 5, PW 5K, PW 3K if you want, but you always want to be a little bit over, a bit of headroom on the sub RMS. So I just literally finished working on this Planet Audio VX605. It's a 5-channel amplifier. It's got the same internals as your like Boss Audio, you know, absolute cheap junk. Like Class AB, single-sided PCB, no output side biasing, like rubbish capacitors, barely any rail capacitance, super generic drive circuit, like really noisy power supply, PWM coming through to the output side. Yeah, not a very nice amplifier by any stretch of the imagination, but it is prepared for the customer, so that's all that matters. Finally caught alive! Been a while. Don't fund me. Good job, buddy. How's it going, man? Hope you're enjoying your evening so far. Gonna run a tablet as head unit. Again, man's on my dream build right here. Gonna run a sub in a sealed 8 cubic foot enclosure. Wow, okay. How against cutting a hole in your boot floor are you? Because I would just go IB, my man. Like, save all that space, and instead of building a massive sealed enclosure, just mount the driver in the boot floor, bit of weather protection, and then your vehicle then is the enclosure, and you got like flat response down to 5 Hertz, and you still got space. You haven't taken up space with some massive sealed box. So let's pop this to one side and let's continue with something else. As you can see, I've got a few bits on the floor down here. I'm going to grab this big chunkus next. This is a Planet Audio RX 4.400. So shall we crack this open, have a little look inside? The live went out. I don't think it did, buddy. I have 0 drop frames and excellent connection on the YouTube, so I think it might just be you, Leo. But you guys let me know if the live is still here. Yeah, live's still here, yeah. I thought so. Oh, a couple of people had to refresh. That's a shame. That's a shame. I have got so much music in my head right now, guys. My SoundCloud is popping off, man. I just keep finding banger after banger. Absolutely love it. I just thought about that. I did think about that, but it's going in a truck. You're gonna have to educate me. What's a truck? Like over here in the UK, truck means like massive lorry, you know, like with a massive trailer that carries your goods. Is that like a pickup truck? So is that like where you haven't got anything behind the front seats? Wait, but if you've got nothing behind the front seats, how are you going to fit a seal box in there? It's going to take up the entire back seat. Oh, okay, so you got like back seats in the pickup truck. Yeah. Well, man, you can still do it infinite baffle. What you do is you mount the driver to. You'd have to reinforce the rear, like behind the back seats. You know, that rear piece of metal. Reinforce the hell out of that. Mount the driver in there with the motor out the back. Obviously weatherproofed and everything. And use the cab as the box. And then you still got your back seats. Obviously you lose your rear window if you've got a rear window there. Just get like, you know, nice big wing mirrors and like maybe a backup cam or something like that. A pickup. Man's got a pickup with that extended cab. I assume an extended cab is longer in the bit where you sit with your family, so you can get your kids and stuff in the back, right? Yeah, man, do it. Honestly, it's kind of a waste. It's kind of silly to fill your entire cab with a sealed ass box when your cab is already a sealed box that has a much better response and everything than a sealed box you'd put in the cab. It's larger, drop lower, and you can also turn the cab into a ported box, a much larger ported box by dropping the windows down. It'd be fucking sick. So, what do we have in here? We have, as before, the most generic single-sided PCB, no output biasing transistor clamped to the heatsink, kinda amplifier here. Now, what I've been doing with the other ones, I've actually got quite a few of these Planet Audio amplifiers in from the same client to repair, but what I've been doing so far with them, all the single-sided PCB ones, is I've actually been stripping them out of the heatsink to check for bad solder joints on the underside of the board, because single-sided PCBs are super known for that, because of the amount of leverage that the parts have, especially the parts that are hanging off the board. They have like quite a high leverage on the solder connection, and with it being lead-free solder, it's kind of janky and it cracks really easily. However, everyone from this customer, from this client, I don't think that they have really used these in a very vibrating environment or anything like that, have all been like absolutely solid underneath with no crack joints or any signs of fatigue or anything like that. So what I might do is just check that this one's, see what's up with this one first before I strip it from the case, because it does save quite a bit of money for the client if I haven't got to strip it out the heatsink. Oh, well, there's something floating about in here. Oh, it's a piece of plastic. These weren't shipped to me in the best way, not gonna lie. All of these amplifiers were like in the same very thin cardboard box, and the box was like all broken because it was so heavy inside, and all their amps didn't really have much cushioning on their edges. So I think what we're going to do first with this one is literally just plug it into power, see what it's doing. So far they've been really simple faults, like it's just been the preamp switches and knobs and stuff like that that have just been oxidized from being stored. Just needs a bit of a clean with isopropyl alcohol, and this is back up and running. I typed that out. That's probably my most typed statement, right, of all time, is because I actually have it saved on my phone. My phone keyboard like knows the whole paragraph so well, it just kind of types it for me. I can just press the middle button. Where people say like, oh, I've got it powers on but I've got no sound from my amp, and I say, hey, take some isopropyl alcohol, spray it in all the toggle switches on the amp, flick it backwards and forwards 20 or 30 times to clean the contact rails because they oxidize and prevent signal from passing. And that whole paragraph pretty much is just auto-saved on my phone. I must say it, I'm not even joking, probably at least twice a day. That's like 700 times a year. If I made a YouTube video that just said that and sent a link to them every time, I'd probably make some decent ad revenue off that one video alone. How much do you charge for repairs? I am about £50 an hour plus parts, so it all depends on the amplifier complexity, parts cost, etc. We're doing a bit of kick bass going IB. Yeah, potentially. There is a potential for that. Going for a seal box will give you definitely stronger response going up the range. So it depends what other speakers you've got in the car and where they sort of start to come in from. You can get around that. You can add some kick bass back with some clever kind of shaping of the cab where the IB24 is going. It depends what kind of sound you're after, really. It just depends what kind of sound you are after. It really is, Neko. Welcome to the world of car audio, where there is no safety nets for anything. The car amplifiers, like aftermarket car audio, is full of the most terribly designed PCBs you will ever find anywhere on the market. Almost every single other industry has better circuits and better board design and build quality than anything car audio. Car audio is just like one of the things that is just rubbish regardless. Like, yeah, you can get some good car audio, don't get me wrong. There are some good brands, there are exceptions to the rule, but just in general it's absolutely horrendous. It's awful. So I should probably first of all check to see if we've got any shorted output transistors. Let's get cracking on this. I haven't got a super long time this evening, guys. I'm probably just going to be streaming till about 9 o'clock in the evening. We have a shorted output, so it's got to come out the board anyway. It's got to come out the PC, the heatsink anyway. So yeah, I've not got a super long time this evening, guys. Just till 9 PM, which is in 1.5 hours roughly. So we've got 1.5 hours to see how much of this Planet Audio we can get through. We've got this one, and I've got another, I think another one, and that's it. I've done a couple of these already. I think there was like 5 of these Planet Audios that came in came in total. A couple of monoblocks with one of them had a dead output MOSFET and the other one had snapped terminals. It's not movie night, but I just kind of fancy playing some games, you know. I fancy just chilling downstairs with a projector, with my nice Martin Logan electrostats, and playing some games, catching up on a few games that I haven't played in a while. Man, I've been playing some VR games lately. I've been playing Moss, even though I've got a VR headset. Freaking get Moss on Steam. It's unbelievably beautiful, really nice. It's a nice casual sofa game. It's not one of them VR games you have to be like jumping around and stuff. You can just play it sitting down, and it's kind of like a RPG, but fully immersive. It's really cool. I just got Moss 2. Yo, 9 nails, my brother. My brother. Yeah, I completed Moss 1 like over a year ago, probably like a year and a half ago now. I've been meaning to get Moss 2. Now I got it. I think they're making a third one now, or almost going to be released. A third one. It's coming soon. But yeah, absolutely freaking awesome game. If you like Legend of Zelda, then you will love Moss. It's kind of the same kind of vibe, but with woodland creatures, beautiful scenery, and it's fully immersive in VR, and you feel like, I can't really explain it, but it's absolutely sick. You know what? I'm going to use the I'm going to use this evening, I think, just to speed things up a little bit. I'm always security first, so it's very strange looking at so many boards that catch fire. Yeah, pretty much. Like, the manufacturers really don't care at all about the reliability or longevity of car audio equipment in general. Yeah, there are some exceptions to the rule, but in general, they literally don't care, couldn't care less. I actually made a good video explaining why. I think it's at the start. If anyone's interested to hear my views on car audio equipment in general, it's right at the start of the EMF audio kind of video response I did. EMF made a rubbish video about why cheaper Class D amplifiers kill your subs or some nonsense like that. He didn't understand what he was talking about, and he was using an oscilloscope incorrectly to look at the wrong kind of waveforms and say that they did something that they didn't. So I made a response video explaining what he was actually seeing and why he was wrong. But at the start of that video, I just talked about car audio equipment in general, and it's, I might actually clip that because it wasn't kind of relevant to the video that I was making, but it was a good bit of info. Yeah, I really enjoyed the combat in Moss. It was really satisfying to really get involved, not only with your character but also with your own hands and your own self. What was the coolest bit? Where you have to charge him up. You have to charge up the little mouse yourself and then like fire off some next energy beam. That was really satisfying, and like the haptic feedback through the index controllers was sick. The EMF video came across my feed this morning. Jokes. That was a good one. That was a good video. I should have thought about the new Taramp Smart. So I haven't seen yet the Big Boss amplifiers. I keep trying to get Taramp to send me one, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't want to buy one, obviously. I'm not gonna about to send them a bunch of money to for me to then make a review for them. No, that's not how it works. They should be paying me, if anything, to do a review of their equipment. But I'm trying to get them to send me one so that at least I can sell it afterwards to reclaim costs of my time making the video. Even if it's bad, all publicity is good publicity. Even if, like I say, hey, this amplifier is so great, more people get to learn about Taramps, and some of their stuff is great, and they'll hear me say that. So, is it worth sending you an amp from the US? Nah, man. I'm afraid not, Parker. It's probably going to cost you about $150 each way, so $300 round trip on the shipping, and then you got the import tax and duties in the UK, and back in the US it's probably going to be another like $150, and then you got my repair bill, which is going to be whatever it costs to repair. So by the time you paid for all of that jazz, it's going to be cheaper just buying a new amplifier, my friend. So you're best off looking for a skilled technician stateside in your own country. I don't take work from overseas for a bunch of reasons, but that's the main one. I'm sending one up this week, big man. Thank you, my man, Donnell. Appreciate you. Yeah, I would like to get a video out ASAP, but if I can get Terrence to send me one, then that would be the best either way. Well, I suppose I could just use your one, my man, and then the one that they send me, I can just compare it to. I can use it in the van, do some extra videos for them as well. Okay, is that enough screws to get this out of the heatsink? Oh, feels like it might. Feels like it might. Come on. What are we saying? Oh yes, there's one there that needs to come out. There we go. And then that's away and that's away. Okay. We're ready to go. We are out of the heatsink. Let's pop that down there for a minute. Leo says, personally I like sealed boxes more as they sound flatter and tighter, unlike porta boxes which sound boomy, not tight, punchy, like a sealed box would. Yeah, sealed boxes do have a certain type of sound to them. I agree. They are, oh sheesh, that's some big ass, never mind. They do have a certain simplicity and like the sound is very kind of true. I don't really know how to explain, like trying to use words to describe sound, but sealed boxes, they just, I'll tell you what it is, they integrate so well with the rest of the music or with most systems. Like to integrate a sealed sub with whatever other speakers you've got is like super simple, and it just integrates really well, and it just kind of complements the rest of the speakers and sounds nice. You haven't got to do a bunch of tweaking, and it's all in phase. There's no like phase shift to different frequencies. There's no kind of weird harmonics due to the port, and it's relatively flat response provided you EQ it correctly. The only thing I don't like about sealed boxes is I feel like they just kind of sound boxy. They, like you can just hear the enclosure, like you can just kind of hear that it's just like, and you can hear the driver like sort of struggling a bit, and they just don't have, I tell you what, they don't sound effortless. They don't sound effortless. And also, interestingly, which I have proven by doing Boom or Bust, unless your driver is amazing, unless the subwoofer you're using is incredible, like really, really high end and really good, a sealed box will generally have way higher THD, will have a way higher, more distorted waveform than a ported box, because when you basically, the thing that's going to cause the most distortions in the sine wave is actually the movement of the cone, or the unlinear movement of the cone as it exceeds, as it goes further away from BL, from the highest BL point, as it moves more, and due to the mechanical kind of compliances and the stuff going on mechanically, basically a subwoofer is going to reproduce the sine wave the cleanest when it's moving the least. So either at super low volumes, or when you are converting the energy that you're sending into the voice coil into kind of air displacement out the ports, because then you're not actually moving the driver that much, but you're creating a bunch of air displacement at the port, because it's like the whole spring thing is going on and you've got the port loaded. So you're actually getting a really clean shaped sine wave at around tuning frequency, as we've shown in Boom or Bust. You've seen the waveforms, you've seen the scope views at tuning frequencies from especially horns and a lot of ported boxes. The wave shape looks beautiful at tuning. However, when you're listening to the driver, when you're listening to the cone, as soon as you get past like a tiny little bit of X-Max, as soon as you get near that X-Max rating, I'm not talking about X-Mech, I'm talking about X-Max, which is like not a lot of excursion in a lot of drivers. As soon as you start going away from the linear excursion range, the sine wave just falls apart and ends up looking like a mess. Can a Taramps high voltage work in a Tesla Model 3? My bro, I don't recommend that you try that unless you have all of the degrees and certifications for working on high voltage vehicles in the first place. Honestly, stuff's going to kill you. You're going to die. Touch one wrong thing, you're going to die, bro. So installing high voltage amplifiers into EVs is not a end user activity. Please don't mess around doing that. Yes, though, it is possible to put a high voltage tire amps amplifier in pretty much any EV if you want. You just have to get the right model of amplifier with the high enough voltage input. I assume, I don't actually know what voltage the Tesla Model 3 is. If it's like 600 volts, then maybe not, I don't know. But you'd want to get somebody qualified to install something like that for you. Please, for the love of God, don't mess around installing amplifiers into EVs, like to the high voltage batteries, without like all the training and all the certifications and all the safety equipment and everything. So, as before with this one, I'm not seeing any obvious signs of cracked solder joints, which is super common on these single-sided PCBs. Yeah, although these Planet Audio amplifiers are really rubbish circuit designs, bearing in mind it's a single-sided PCB, the actual soldering and assembly does not seem too shabby. There's, yeah, they've actually done a fairly decent job on the soldering. And it looks like relatively decent stuff. These resistors look a bit sketchy just because they get so hot, so the solder kind of cracks a little bit. So there's, yeah, that one there's a little bit sketch, so I'm going to reflow that one. But we did find we had some shorted output transistors, so let's go ahead and check those and remove any that we find that are shorted. So let's start off over this side. I think it was over this side, wasn't it, that we saw some. So yeah, we've got something there, a little something there, a little something there, and a little something there. So that one's definitely toast, because it is reading a dead short. So you can see you later. And then the one next to it, as I suspected. Wait, I don't have my multimeter cam. What's going on? Where's the old snake camera Ruby? Snake cam, are you running? It is plugged in and it is being detected, so I'm not sure why it ain't coming up, but let's just unplug and plug back in, see what's going on. Maybe it doesn't want to play today. Sometimes it doesn't want to play. Let's just try unplugging it and plugging it in one more time. One more time for the win. Get lucky. There we go. Oh, it's green. There we go. It's green, guys. There you go. How's about that? Bro, you like green, bro? There's some green for you. There we go. Oh, no, it's not going to work tonight, guys. So you're just going to have to... I'm just going to have to call out my multimeter readings because this ain't going to work tonight. But basically, yeah, this transistor right here, we're reading a 723 on diode. This one right here is toasted. But this one, which is reading a short on the multimeter, it's reading like 9 ohms. So I know that that one's not dead. I know that we're just reading the short on this one through the circuit, through the rest of the board. So if I remove this one, hate it when that happens, you get thermal paste on your clothes. This one now no longer reads a short, you see? Nice. So, we'll probably replace these ones anyway because they were in a bank that had a dead one. So they may be slightly compromised. But we can power the amplifier up like this now with those still remaining there because there's 1 PNP and 1 NPN remaining. So we can power the amplifier up and just check that it creates clean audio and that there's no drive circuit faults. It's worth actually dropping a multimeter over the drive circuit anyway, just to double check, just to make sure that there's no obviously shorted drive transistors or anything like that. So we're just going to drop a multimeter across these drivers here. That looks good. No obvious shorts or low resistances that I am seeing. Also worth checking the emitter resistors, because if you got an emitter resistor that is open, then when you replace the transistor, it's going to kind of be a bit pointless. Right, that one looks good, and that one's good as well. Let's just check these other ones. Yeah, it's looking good there. Right, let's check the other output transistors over the other side of the board to make sure we've got none others that are short. So it seems just one channel went down here. So the transistors that we're looking for, then in the output side, we've got a 1693 and a 4466. So I don't think I have any of these. However, we almost certainly will have some compatible replacements. Now, I don't know transistor models and replacements off the top of my head like I do for MOSFETs, because I don't work on as many Class ABs, but we can use our good friend Google to discover some compatible replacements for these. So let's just type in the NPN first, which is 2SC4466. Helps if I actually type in there, 2SC4466. There we go. Let's see, what are you? Chinese datasheet. Okay, we are 120 volts and 6 amps with a current gain of, is it telling me the current gain? 50 minimum. Okay. So all of the replacement transistors that I have in stock are kind of audio and general purpose transistors that will drop in fine. I just kind of got to match up the voltage and the current ratings pretty much. So yeah, not too high voltage, 120 volts and a 6 amp part should be fine in here. So let's see, what do we have in the drawers? In the drawers we have, in the top drawer, first contestant is a Toshiba 2SA1941. Actually, that's the PNP, but that's fine. So we have matched complementary pairs. So I'll just pull the PNP out for each of these. So yeah, 1941. What do we got next? Contestant number 2. Oh my gosh, I've got loads of these. I could probably sell these on eBay as a little side hustle. I've got like probably over 200 of these. Sheesh! There's another drawer full of them. I think that's the complementary. That's the C611. So let's just go to the next drawer along. Yeah, these are the complementary. Hang on a minute. No, maybe not. We've also got C5198, so that is the NPN. So I'm just going to get one of those out, and that might be the complementary to the 1941. I can't remember. If it is, then great. If not, then that's fine as well. We can also look that up. Contestant number 3 is a D1047. Okay, and it's complementary. Well, got hundreds of those as well. Hundreds of those, literally. Millions of those. Its complementary is a B817. Let's drop that there as well. And then we also have a 2SA2151A with its complementary, which is going to be to the side. A C611, I imagine. Right, let's have a look at some of these parts then and see which ones are going to be best to use. So, first of all, we want to look at a 2SA1941. 1941, what are we saying? So we've got 140 volts and 10 amps. So these ones plus its complementary, which I assume is the 2SC5198, these are within the correct voltage range. So they're similar or above the original transistor voltage range, and the current is almost double of the original one. So that might be a fair fit, might be a little bit overkill. The current gain on these is looking to be in the 55 to 160 range. So yeah, that kind of matches up with our original one. So they would probably be a fairly good match to our originals and a fair upgrade. Let's try next ones along. We are looking at a, I think is it a 2SB, was it a KTB or KSB 817? Oh no, yeah, that is correct. Okay, what we're saying on these ones, I've got 160 volts and a 12 amps. These are even beefier, probably a bit unnecessary. Yeah, I don't think we need to go that far. These ones right here, 2SA 2151A. We have much higher voltage, so we don't need to go anywhere. So I think the best ones to fit here are going to be the 1941s and the 5198s. So let's grab a few of those. Let's put this one back in here, and this one back in here, and this one back in here. There we go. I need to get a couple more of these out, these 1941s. I hope the bias is going to be similar. This amplifier has a fixed bias, can't adjust it, so we're going to have to hope that it's similar enough that these don't run hot at idle with too much overlap. Oh yeah, but one thing we can do, like I said, is just power this bad boy up first and make sure that we got clean audio out from this channel that did have a failure. There's no DC offset or anything like that. So let's power that up first and see what we got. We might need to clean the preamp switches and stuff, so if the sine wave looks a bit bad or it's a bit like intermittent, then we know it's just preamp switch related. But I just want to make sure there's no DC offset or anything over here. Interesting. We seem to have... We've got a ground reference. We seem to have... not really... Yeah, there's no ground reference, or there's a poor ground reference to the output side. So the reason I say that, I haven't turned the amplifier on yet. All I've done is connect 12 volts and ground, like turned it on, turned that power supply on. I haven't turned the remote on yet, okay? And what I'm seeing, this is a good one for you guys that are repairing as well. If you probe somewhere on the board, okay, that shouldn't have any voltage yet, and you get voltage everywhere. So notice how I've got about 7 volts on the scope here. I've got 7 volts on the scope, literally everywhere on the output section, including the speaker negative terminals. That just means that the output side ground is not tied to the main side ground, either by design or because there is a blown resistor that is supposed to link the two together. Sometimes they're capacitively coupled as well, but there will usually be a high value resistor to pull the DC levels to the same point, because you don't want a DC offset between the output side and the main side ground generally, and that's especially bad if you decide to plug in an RCA while the amplifier is powered up. That ground difference will be seen instantaneously as a huge DC spike. So I just want to take a quick look on this board and see whether I can find a resistor somewhere that's supposed to tie the output side ground to the main ground. So if I put my multimeter probe in the speaker negative terminal, I'm going to turn my multimeter to 200K and probe the main power ground. See, yeah, we've got absolutely nothing. You can't see my multimeter because the camera's not working, but basically I have dead open circuit. I don't even get a reading on 2 mega ohms, so it's like completely open circuit between the output side ground and the main side ground, which is not a good thing. It shouldn't be like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can find a resistor somewhere. Might be easier to look on the bottom of the board here. There should be something somewhere that ties the two together. Got these little jumper bars here. What I'm looking for is a resistor that has output side ground on it on one side and main power supply ground on the other side. And typically they will be around the middle of the board here, near the TL494. Okay, here we go. So we've got output side ground on this resistor here, and then on the other side we have main ground. So my friends, we have our open faulty resistor. Check that shit out right there. That's a quick find for you. So all we did there was just had our multimeter in the output speaker negative terminal, which is output side ground. I found a resistor here, R1 in fact, which had continuity to output side ground. Then I just flipped over to the other side, no continuity on that side, and checked continuity from this side to main ground, And look what we have, continuity to main ground. So this resistor is supposed to be the bridge between output and main side ground, and that is open. So what is that? What is that? That is brown, red, orange, gold. I'm not good on the colours by memory. Well, brown and black is like it's a 1 and a 0. So orange is, that's going to be a 10k. Am I right? Brown, black, orange, gold, 10 kilo ohms? Pretty sure that's a 10k. So yeah, obviously we need to replace that. And having the output side ground and the main ground decoupled like that actually can cause some issues. So I'm going to go ahead and rectify that just real quick. R1, here we go. That is this bad boy right here. So let's just fit a new resistor in place there. It's actually capacitively coupled as well. You notice on the top of the board we've got this film capacitor right here. So basically any high frequency noise will see a low resistance path to ground from the output to the main ground, but any DC will see a high resistance path to ground, which is what you want. That's the right way to do it. 10k, you were right, says 9 Nails. Ah, nice. It's good to be right for once. I cannot get my SoundCloud music out of my head. It's so good at the moment, man. SoundCloud's popping off. So we're just going to suck the solder from these holes, and that is nice and loosey-goosey already. Let's do the same on this one now. Considering the look of this trace, you would think that was going to be nice high thermal mass, but actually that's very easy to solder on. This just melts straight away, so not very high thermal mass at all on that trace. Okay, there we go. Let's get that out of there. See ya. Now see that resistor? That looks like visibly perfect. Like doesn't have any visual signs of damage. Now so many people, when they're kind of getting into electronics or they're like checking out their amplifier for the first time or something, they'll assume, how many people do you know that like will assume that everything on the amplifier or anything in the circuit is fine and a healthy component if it looks mint? I actually did probably consider this and thought this at the very start, you know, before I knew anything about electronics. I assumed that a faulty electronic part would always look bad. It would always look burned or like cracked or like discolored or something like that. But honestly, it's not very often the case at all. You're like, I would say 90% of the time, faulty electronic components just look mint and brand new. You can't see what's going on inside of them. Only do they look burned when you've had like prolonged high current across them due to a short or something like that. So I need a new 10k in there. I don't know, do I actually stock 10ks? I don't even know if I stock 10ks. Let's have a quick cheeky look in my resistor tub. You guys love my resistor tub. Every time I get this out, you guys are like, yo, Sam, love the random assortment of resistors there, my friend. So do I. And if you can't gauge the sarcasm already, then sucks to be you. But yes, this is a bit of a pain in the butt, not going to lie. Would love to have all these in individual drawers for each value, but have not got around to that yet. It's just, this has just kind of grown to be my resistor pot. So I'm just seeing whether I've got any 10Ks just kind of on a reel that are easy to access, but if not, I'll pull one from a donor board. That's probably going to be quicker. I'm just looking for the old sparkle of orange in here. I'm seeing lots of orange, but unfortunately I'm seeing 33 ohm resistors, which is where the orange comes from. I'm seeing a lot of 1Ks. A 1K would probably do the job as well, but I'm going to stick original value in there just to be safe. It doesn't really matter. You just want a high-ish resistance from output side ground to main ground. Doesn't need to be 10K exactly. Can be obviously you see 1K, you see 3.3K is fine. What have we got in here? What's this? Is that a 3.3K? What's that? That's a 3000. You know what? Let's just drop in a 3000. That'll be fine. 3K is going to be absolutely fine. You just want a high resistance. That's all. No dramas. Could you make a public playlist of your favourite SoundCloud bangers? Well, basically my SoundCloud likes is public. So if you want to search SoundCloud for Basso Profondo, which is my... actually, you know what? Let me give you a link. Let me drop a link in the old live chat right here. If anyone fancies listening to some absolute bangers, your music tastes may differ to mine. I almost guarantee your music tastes will differ to mine. But just on the off chance that they don't, you will enjoy, very much so. I'll tell you something about me. Oh, two-step verification, go to heck. It's because I use Firefox when I'm streaming, rather than Chrome, so I don't ever log into anything on Firefox. Here we go. My likes, here we go. Wait, how do I share my likes? SoundCloud.com. Profile maybe? Oh, here we go. BP Rebase. There we go. I'm going to drop a link in the live chat. What I like the most, music-wise, at the moment, my music tastes are hugely varied, like ridiculously varied, from metal to old dad rock, like kind of Deep Purple vibes, to classical music, to jazz, to dubstep, brostep, drum and bass. I like little bits of EDM here and there. Not a fan of country. Not a fan of, not a big fan of reggae, not gonna lie, can't lie, not a big fan of reggae. Not a big fan of, what's that like? Not a big fan of like mainstream pop music, really. Not a bit of me, that. I like, what do I like? I like very clever music, and I like sound design, and I like textures. A lot of people will say actually these days, like a lot of electronic music, there's no melody. It's just kind of, you could almost say it maybe sounds a bit kind of repetitive, and the notes are very basic. But the thing is that some music follows a melody, okay, and some music creates textures. Just think about that for a minute. Some music creates melodies, and some music creates textures. At the moment, a lot of the electronic music I like is based around textures. So the note patterns are generally very simplistic, repetitive, maybe even just a couple of semitones up, down from each other. However, the sound design, the synthesized sounds and the textures are beautiful and really come alive with a good set of speakers, especially electrostatics. Your brain kind of perceives these sounds to be organic, and your brain starts imagining what kind of organic organism is creating this strange sound, and it's really cool. So, by the way, yeah, so just go on to BP Rebase. Don't look on my profile, because it's just full of my old junk music that I made when I was like 12 years old. Don't listen to any of that. I'm sure you won't now, but don't listen to that. Go to my likes. And the most recent likes are like the better stuff that I'm into at the moment. But honestly, there's like some really good bangers on my likes in general. So we've replaced that resistor. I dropped a 3.3k in there because YOLO, it's fine. It just needs a higher resistance between output side ground and main side ground. So now if we turn on the power supply, you will see that we don't have, provided that that was the thing. Oh wait, where heck, we do, we have 5 volts. Eh? Okay. That's mad. Why do we have 5? We've got 5 volts between... Now we shouldn't have 5 volts because that resistor should be pulling it down. That's interesting. I wonder whether that hints to a different fault somewhere. Let me just measure that resistor I dropped in. Yep, so we got on the multimeter, which you can't see, we've got 3k. So I've got 3k between output side ground and main side ground. However, we are in fact reading some voltage. I wonder, is the power supply okay? Yes, it sounds like it's not because you can't see my multimeter, but that is currently building some charging some capacitors. Oh, where's this voltage coming from then? So if I turn the supply on, we've got 5 volts on the output side ground, and we've got 0 volts on the main side ground. It shouldn't really be there. Sometimes you do get this though if there's a bit of a offset. So I'm just gonna hit the remote for like a split second and just see if that voltage offset goes away. So if I just tap the remote, see if that 5 volts goes to ground. It doesn't. Okay. Okay, I'm going to bridge over with a pair of tweezers that resistor to give that 5 volts a direct path to ground. I just want to see whether the current draw here on my power supply increases, maybe like 0.2. No, it stays at 0.1. And the voltage does disappear. So you can see we've got 5 volts on there, and then it drops down straight away to 0. So there's definitely a little bit of current behind that, which is strange. There really shouldn't be any current behind that at all. But nonetheless, I'm just going to power it up anyway and see what it does. See if we get any DC offset on this side that had the blown transistor. Okay, so if I go ahead and zoom out a little bit on the scope, so we're going to power up now. We've got 0.6 amps worth of idle current going in. And we have no DC on the outputs of that channel. That's good. Let's just check the speaker terminals just to make sure. No DC offset anywhere like that. Okay, that's cool. Do we still have a bias on the... No, okay, so now when the amplifier is powered up, we don't have a 5 volt bias on the output side ground anymore. Well, that's good, I suppose. And as soon as we power the amplifier off, we do get a 5 volt bias on the output side ground. Very strange. It could just be a really jankily designed circuit board, and that there's a little bit of like voltage leakage onto the output side ground somewhere due to some way that this protection circuit's been designed, because one of the main links between the output side ground and the main side ground will be the protection circuit, because if something needs to detect something in the output side and it needs to trigger some kind of flag over by the 494, and that's going to be referenced to main side ground. So there could just be some jankiness in the design over there. But either way, we did measure that 10 kilo ohm resistor was actually open. So that was definitely a bad resistor, because I measured it on 2 mega ohms and it was like open circuit. So yeah, that definitely needed to be replaced either way. But yeah, interesting. It goes away when we build rail. Weird. But yeah, we didn't see any DC offset or anything like that on the channel that had the failed transistors. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop in some new transistors, just wanted to make sure that that was alright. And then we're going to check the preamp circuit, make sure that that's okay. I've been chatting a lot this evening, and this was meant to be a quick stream, and we're already at 8:30, we're about 30 minutes left. So let's just get these transistors out on this side. Yep, the row voltage has sunk down to ground nicely. I'm going to turn the big soldering iron on for this. Yeah, screw it, why not? I'll turn the big soldering iron on and I'll wait for it to heat up. And while I wait for it to heat up, I will read some live chat real quick. That hat cam is spot on, good quality, use it more. You guys enjoy the hat cam? It does actually look pretty nice. Like, yeah, I should probably use this one for that kind of shot. And this one looks a bit less, it looks a bit janky, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean, guys? This is a really decent quality capture card. I've changed my capture card to a HD60 Pro. So it's a decent quality capture card. I just don't think this cameras are very good, but it does make for an easy and a nicely accessible zoom in camera. So I should probably use this for close-up stuff. I should probably try and use my hat cam more just for kind of general board overview stuff, because I think that's a bit sharper, isn't it? It's a bit more zoomed out than I want it to be, but yeah, look at the state of my desk. I've been working my arse off the last couple of weeks, and it's just like the MOSFETs all kind of stack up here. These are the remains of the fans from that sundown audio that caught fire. So got that here as a little souvenir. These are all just some capacitors. I'm waiting for a LW Audio 4500 to come in that needs new rail caps. It's supposed to be coming in, well, I was expecting it this week, maybe next week now. So they're just kind of here ready to fit, rather than putting them away. Just got some, that's a resistor. So I need to do a little bit of a tidy up on here. But that's what happens when you're working and you're not cleaning. You're working, you know, you're working. You sit down and you work. You don't clean, because then you're wasting time cleaning when you should be working. Love the Boomer Boss series. Is still going to be a new season? Yes, I do plan a new season. I'm actually pretty up to date with repairs at the moment. Usually I've got like a sort of 3 to 4 week turnaround, but right at the moment I'm doing amps as they come in pretty much. So I do have a bit of spare time. So yes, look out in the near future for Boomer Bust Season 2. I just need to kind of finalise some details on that. Work out what I'm going to be doing for Season 2, how I'm going to change it up. I do have some plans to change it up a bit. You know what I'd like to do for Season 2, guys? For those of you who watch Boomer Bust, if you haven't watched Boomer Bust, go and watch it. It's a series that I did last year. It's really interesting. It's scaled down subwoofer enclosure testing. Users will submit their enclosure designs for testing, and we test them in real world, scaled down by a factor of 6. So they're all 3D printed, and they have a scaled down test cabin. And the actual maths and the acoustics and the fluid dynamics of it works. It scales perfectly from real size to small size. I worked out everything so that it did. So yeah, it's really cool to see. Even when you slow the video down by a factor of 6, it looks like a real bass demo. It's fucking jokes. But yeah, I want to do a Season 2 for that. So I'm planning one. Nice fans, yeah, for sure. Senzo, I have not answered your question. I haven't been looking at the live chat, my bro. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been busy working my butt off. What was your question? Whereabouts are you? I don't see your name. In your streams, I'd like to know, if I have a 3000 watt 4-channel amp, that means each channel can deliver 750 watt. My friend, if you've got a 4-channel amplifier that says 3000 watts, I guarantee you it's not 3000 watts. That will be 3000 watts PMPO, which is just like a made-up number to make you buy the amplifier, to make less experienced people like buy that amp instead of their competitors. So what you want to do is you want to be looking at the RMS ratings. They should be, almost all amplifiers will have in their manual or on the spec sheet on the website, RMS ratings. And you'll probably find that you've got about 70 to 80 watts per channel, maybe a bit more. But if you want to tell me the make and model of your amplifier, then we can tell you how much power it actually makes. But yeah, it's absolutely not 3000 watts 4-channel. Unless it's one of these new Class D things coming out of China. But if you had one of those, you wouldn't be asking that question. What size would the driver in Boomer Bust scaled up to 1:1? I covered this in the first video of Boomer Bust. It is a 12. It scales up to a 12-inch. I found the issue with the 15-volt regulator. Oh, nice work, Jordan. It's really satisfying when you find the problem, isn't it? Good job, buddy. If you need a donation, let me know. I'm alright for now. I'm hoping that Season 2 will kick off a little bit better than Season 1. Hoping to get some more views in there. I think I'm going to go with 4 Sundown U6.5s in a seal box. Daniel Doria. That should be really awesome, buddy. Yeah, good job. Looking forward to yeah, send me some pictures out when you're done. I love small woofers. Love small drivers. I don't know why. It's a bit of a thing. Thanks for the link. I'll check it out. No worries. Run the ad. Oh, don't fund me. Good job on the reminder. Just quickly, while I am soldering desoldering these transistors, because this is kind of boring content. Would you guys mind an advert? Would you guys mind if I hit the ad button? It'll probably make me about £40, so you can kind of make me some money without actually having to do anything. Would anyone be adverse to me running a cheeky ad right now while I remove these? What are you saying? Is that okay? I don't want to lose people on the stream, but at the end of the day, it does make me a bit of money, and it doesn't. You don't have to do anything. And we can also play the fun game, which is tell me what advert you got, because it's always funny to see what adverts you get. I get a lot of hair loss ads. I wonder why. Hair loss prevention, I think it's a bit far for that. I keep getting adverts for like, prevent your hair loss, regrow your head. I'm like, bro. I'm like, dude, it's a lost cause, my man. Your ad pennies, your advert revenue monies on targeting me is wasted. It's a lost cause, my man. Alright guys, yeah, I'm gonna run an ad. Let me know what ad you get. Let me just show you. Let's go back to my stream here. Well, we've got 96 viewers. That'll be right. Let me know what ad you get. I'm curious to see. And we'll, anyone running an ad blocker obviously isn't gonna get it. But that's funny. That's fine. I run ad blockers as well, but anyone on mobile probably will get one, unless it's broken. But yeah, let me know what ad you get. Do it 7 times. I don't think it works like that. can you design your own amp circuit? Maybe one day. There's quite a steep learning curve to go from just repairing stuff that someone else has designed to designing something yourself. It is quite a big gap in knowledge and, you know, stuff like that. To design your own circuit, you actually have to understand how the circuits work. To repair circuits, you only really have to know how to find problems and replace parts. That's a lot easier than understanding in full. Like, to design a circuit, you need to understand why every single little damn component is there, and what it does, and why it does that, and what value it needs to be. To repair stuff, all you need to do is be able to notice when parts are not reading what they should be, or how to, you know, identify bad parts and replace them. You don't really actually need to know how the circuit functions in every single way. You just need to be good at fault finding, problem solving, and replacing bits and bobs. New cars ad, like as in a new vehicle, or like the new Cars movie. I don't know if they're making another one now, but have YouTube Premium, don't get ads. Well, yeah, that's fair enough. That's obviously fair. Don't get ads on the premium. If you got ads on the premium, you'd be absolutely raging. Do you know what's funny? You can actually pay for Disney Plus now and still get ads. They've introduced an ads membership. So basically, you give them money and they still make money on you. Probably more money than, well, I don't know if it's more money, but a decent amount of money off you on the ads, even though you're already paying them. I think that is a joke. I kind of get it, like it's a cheaper subscription, but like, come on, guys, you're just taking the piss at this point, man. Okay, we're about ready. We've sucked all the holes, so we're about to drop in some new transistor rubies. I paid $12 a month for no ads. Totally worth it. Do you not think that you could just use an ad blocker and save yourself $12 a month? Although it's a little bit more tricky on mobile, I suppose. There are ways to do it on mobile, but you need to do a bit more workaround. But for me, I don't make a lot of money, so $12 a month is actually like not an insignificant amount. So I'll just watch the occasional ad on my phone. It's fine. 13BTRX says I do it for YouTube Music. Now that I can understand, because I did actually have a 3-month trial on YouTube Music. Actually, it was wicked because they got everything. Like, they got all the weird stuff. They got all the weird stuff that isn't on a lot of other streaming services, because it's YouTube. Like, so it's gonna have all the stuff in it, like, so. Not a nice company. Nah, that's fair, man. That's fair. Did anyone else get 3 ads? Yo, my guy! Do you know what the interesting thing is here? Sholto. So YouTube has you flagged down as very tolerant of adverts. This is actually a thing. I have experimented with it and confirmed it. So basically, YouTube has a statistic against you, against everyone, against all of its users, as to how tolerant of adverts you are, and it will use that to determine how many adverts it's going to serve you and how often it's going to serve you an advert. If it determines that you are tolerant of adverts, it's going to chuck a bunch of ads your way. You're going to get 3 in a row. You're going to get more adverts during a video. However, if it determines you are not so tolerant of adverts, less tolerant of adverts, then it's not going to serve you as many, and sometimes it won't even serve you an advert at all. And the way to make YouTube change your flag from tolerant to not tolerant is to abandon videos when you get an advert. So if you're on your mobile, for example, if you tap on a video and you open it up and it's got an advert at the start, immediately close the video. Then tap on it again, another advert, close it. Tap on it again, advert, close it. Tap on it, advert, close it. Tap on it, advert, close it. And eventually, you'll tap on it, and then there won't be an advert. It's just going to play the video straight away. Now, sometimes that whole process of you opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, it's actually taken longer than just watching an advert. However, what you're doing by that is you're actually recalibrating your statistic to be less tolerant of adverts, because YouTube flags every time you close the video when there's an advert as an abandonment, and it doesn't want that. YouTube wants you to stay on their platform, so they're going to try their best to give you the balance of adverts, to just enough adverts that you're tolerant of, to the point where you stay on their platform and watching videos and staying on YouTube. Because they don't want you to leave YouTube. If they serve you an ad and you bugger off and go and do something else, do some housework, that's a loss for them. They don't want that. They want you staying on the app. So they want to serve you as many ads as they think you're tolerant of. So if you're getting 3 adverts in a row, bro, I don't remember the last time I got 3 adverts in a row. Sometimes I barely even get an advert here or there on my phone. I don't have ad blocker on my phone or anything like that. So I do get ads on my phone, but a lot of the time it's either one skippable advert or no adverts at all, because I have calibrated my flag to be low tolerance of ads, and you should do the same. Yeah, Sholto says, yes, I am tolerant. He admits that. Yo, he's throwing that out there, man. I know, all the adverts, I'll take all your adverts, bro. Just throw them at me, it's fine. I'll lap them up. Make your money, it's cool, it's cool. So what are we saying on this amplifier then? We have forgotten which were the NPNs and PNPs, so let's just confirm it with another channel over here. Do you use a DSP in your car? So in the Proton, so I have 2 cars, for those of you who don't know me. I have my Proton, which is my kind of daily SQ car, and I have the van, which is my SPL demo monster. Okay, so the PNP is going on this side. So in the van I run a DSP, solely because it came with a DSP when I bought it. The guy I bought it from had a Helix DSP fitted already, so yes, I use a DSP in that. In the Proton, I don't actually run a DSP yet. I do want to run a DSP, but I don't run a DSP yet, simply because I haven't really found the need to run one. Like, obviously I would benefit from one a little bit, but the thing with the Proton is you don't really need a DSP. The DSP becomes critical when you have issues that you need to correct. Okay, DSP is useful when you have complex acoustical issues that you need to correct. If you don't have that many issues to correct, then the DSP becomes a bit less useful. I mean, it's still useful, but like, you know, you don't use it as much. So the thing with the Proton, wait, I've done this wrong, bent these the wrong way. The thing with the Proton is that the driver positioning is already super good. So I don't need to do a lot of corrections for driver positioning. The cabin acoustic environment is very good. It is super deadened. It's really dead in the cabin. It's a really small cab as well, so there's not a lot of kind of like harmonic-y, like reverb-y stuff and nonsense to kind of dial out. It's a really nice dead cabin, to be honest. So there's not a lot of big peaky stuff, not a lot of dead points in the frequency responses, especially per side. Yeah, so the positioning's good, the cabin's good, so I have less corrections to make. So basically, I can get a very good sounding setup, like a competition level sounding setup, just by using the limited DSP functionality of a high-end head unit, like one of the older Alpine 9855Rs, that just has individual time alignment, time delay per channel, and that has a parametric EQ. I mean, I would probably benefit a little bit from per channel EQ, but having just a parametric EQ across all channels is enough to get a really nice sounding setup in there. And just the crossover as well on the head unit is very powerful between the three-way active. So buying a DSP for the Proton would be a lot of money spent, and I'd gain a little bit probably of performance. I'd be able to get it sounding nicer for sure, but it wouldn't be like night and day difference, because most of the system is already there in terms of just how it's laid out anyway, and it's just it's just very lends itself nicely to not a lot of correction. So I haven't actually got round to doing a DSP in the Proton yet. What I should probably do is I should probably move the Helix from the van into the Proton, because the van, even though actually the Helix is kind of more important in the van because it needs more corrective stuff, the van I could probably chuck a lesser DSP in there. I've actually got a spare Digital Designs DSi-1 just sitting on a shelf here in the workshop. I should probably throw that in the van because it's kind of less important. The van is like a big windy demo monster. So, you know, ultimate soundstage and clarity and like perfect response isn't really as much of a factor in the van. It's cool, it's nice to have, it's lovely to be able to do a massive hair trick and then have someone sit in the driver's seat and appreciate a beautiful stereo image with, you know, lovely like soundstage and dynamics and stuff. It's really cool to have both in one system, don't get me wrong. I still do want to have that, so I do still want a DSP in there, but I probably should put the Helix in the Proton and put the lesser Digital Designs DSi-1 in the van, because that'll do what I need in the van just fine, and I can use the Helix to dial in the Proton, like absolutely nail it. Stefan says, how's it sound? So I think, oh, my wine glass, sorry, my Ribena glass is in the way. I eventually joined the DD family. I'm enjoying my 715s, can't wait to hear your playlist through them. Nice! That's cool. I'm glad that you joined the DD family, I guess. Although, I would be telling a little bit of a lie. I've actually seriously gone off. Oh, my camera has decided to disconnect. It does this sometimes. Oh, we're back. We're back. It does it by itself. I've actually massively gone off DD. So I don't particularly rate their products anymore. I don't think they're very good value for money. I don't think that their USA stuff is particularly well built. I don't really rate their amplifiers. They're a massive rip-off. Yeah, not really a big fan of DD anymore, sad to say, and just for a bunch of reasons. So I'm really glad that you're enjoying our 715s. I have to say, if you were going to buy DD, the red lines are probably the ones to get. They're actually more reliable, weirdly, than the USA stuff. The USA stuff is great when it works, but honestly, the red line stuff is better value for money, and it's just a bit more reliable. You know what you're getting with the Redline stuff. With the USA stuff, you can have all kinds of issues with the spiders and the assembly, and just it's just a pain in the butt. And it's so expensive for what it is as well. So I'm glad that you went with the Redlines. The 715s are a phenomenal woofer, and they are also not just something generic you could buy from another brand for a cheaper price. They are actually bespoke DD drivers, which is important. They have actually put some R&D into them. So yeah, the Redline series I would say are the best thing to get from DD at the moment. Don't buy DD's amps, whatever you do. They're fine, like, you know, they're not like super bad amps, they're just terrible value for money. But yeah, the Redline stuff is where you want to be if you want to be buying DD stuff these days. Yeah, I bought the most expensive subwoofers that they produce and have had just issues with them. Nothing to do with the user error, because it's, I mean, firstly I kind of think I know what I'm doing a bit more than a lot of people maybe, and secondly, the type of issues I've had with them are not like user error doesn't play into that. The type of spider failures I've had, not ripped spiders. I've had the spiders getting weird notches throughout their throw. So throughout the spider's travel, they have different compliances depending on how far out the cone goes, and it causes the driver to completely lose control of the cone. And it will only happen to one driver. It only happened to one driver, and both the drivers are in identical like shared volume and everything, so it happened to one, and then it kind of happened to that same one again, even though it was in the other side. I've had weird issues with them, man. I just don't really rate them. Okay, so we got 4 new transistors dropped in the board there. I'm just going to wait for them to cool down a little bit, because I want to make sure that they are not running warm at idle, which would mean that the bias, the preset bias point of this circuit is incorrect for these transistors. So hopefully they don't run warm. at idle. So we're just going to wait for them to cool down from being soldered, and hope that I've got the positioning right. They look a little bit different to the factory ones next to them. Just want to kind of fold that out a little bit, like that. Yeah, these are kind of tricky to get in the exact same position as the original transistors. That should be alright. It's a little bit too high on one side, but we'll just roll with it and see what happens. You know what, the legs are way too high. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Not happy with that. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Hey, that's what she said. Overbuilt Automotive says, I'm making a video of my super powerful DIY home setup in the coming weeks. Nice! I'm looking forward to seeing that. Send me a link when you do. Any thoughts on the DD506? Yeah, they're pretty cool. There are other brands that make basically the exact same driver though for a lot cheaper. I don't know what brands you have in the States that would do that, but over here the InPhase XT6 and XT8 is basically the same as the Redline series drivers. Few differences in the materials and stuff, but for the amount of money that they cost, the InPhase drivers are actually such good value. They're so good for what they are. They're very, 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 very close, if not the same level as the DD Redline stuff, but like probably about half the price. Lassie Discovers says, I'm super impressed with the Dayton Audio DSP. I would definitely recommend it. Or the DSP LF, especially if you have an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone. Actually, talking of iPhones, that's a good segue. I actually need a new phone, guys. I really need a new phone. I'll tell you what, does anyone want to take a guess? What phone do I have? I'd love to see what phone you guys think I have. What kind of phone guy am I? What phone do I have? Let's see. I almost bet you no one's going to get it right. That might be giving away too much, but I'd be very surprised if anyone gets it right. And we're going to need a make and model here as well, ideally. Ideally a make and model, but not necessarily. How many watts is that soldering iron? It says, is Dave, it's a 200 watts. That soldering iron is a 1992 Weller. Straight off the mains, no switch, no nothing, no nonsense. Just a big old resistor on the mains. Sine Wave says, let me not cheat. Ah, yeah, see. No cheating. Not cheating. What we got? Bro, we got Pixel, Nokia, Huawei, Android guy, Xiaomi, Nokia. None of you have got anywhere near yet. 3210. Day 4 of my new Android. Oh yes, I remember that, Jordan. I remember you saying. How's it going so far, Jordan? Let me know your thoughts. Huawei, don't get an iPhone. I just switched from Pocophone F1 and I'm very disappointed with iOS. Okay, interesting. Maisie, oh wait, that's a soldering iron. Motorola, landline phone, my man Brandon. He knows, he was there. Brandon was there. Didn't come with the move. I do not, in fact, have a landline phone at this house. No. Very funny. Samsung, HTC, Sony, iPhone 5, ROG. Okay, so one person has got the brand correct so far. Okay, 2 people have got the brand correct so far. So, YouTube Everyday and Damin, HTC. I have a HTC at the moment, yes. I was HTC hardcore fanboy. Who else used to have a HTC? HTC had some golden days. Do you remember the HTC Desire? Did anyone have the HTC Desire? My God, what a phone that was for the time. That was an absolute killer phone at the time. And what you tend to find, guys, is the people that diss HTC, or the people that had a bad experience with HTC, those are the people that didn't buy the flagship. They bought the budget phones from HTC, which were absolutely terrible. For example, HTC Wildfire. What a dreadful phone that was. But the people that had the flagship phones generally had a pretty goddamn good experience. Let me talk you through, just while I'm putting new solder paste on these, I'll talk you through my phone, my mobile phone history, right? So the first smartphone was a HTC Touch Diamond. At the time, that phone was ridiculously futuristic. It was incredible. It ran Windows Mobile, but it had HTC's own kind of skin and own UI, which was actually really nice. I think it was called TouchSense. Or maybe that was later in Android days. But anyway, yeah, HTC Touch Diamond, absolutely beautiful phone. Like, the design of it was incredible, so lush, so sleek. So I had that. Then after that, I had the HTC Desire. Then after that, I had the One X, which was the white one. Then after that, I had the M8. And then I had the M10. And then now, which is what I still currently have, I have the U12 Plus, which is very dated now. Very, very dated and very, very in need of an upgrade. But it was an absolute stonkingly good phone at the time. HTC have had some fantastic cameras over the years, and also some fantastic DACs as well built into their phones. HTC 25 Hertz Alive, he's like, Chunder, yeah, the One M8 was probably one of the best, one of the most all-rounded, well-rounded phones of its era. The M8 was a superb phone. That was a really great phone. They had Beats Audio, yeah, a couple of them did. I wasn't a big fan on that, but yeah, they did integrate that. HTC do still kind of exist. I mean, obviously, yeah, they still make other stuff. They don't really make phones. They came out of making phones for a while, but they did recently release a kind of mid-tier phone, which is a bit meh. But they have stopped making flagships now since the U12 Plus. Yeah, HTC was the way to go for sure. Touch Diamond, yeah, Brian knows. Bye bye camera, come on, come back. Why does it turn off sometimes? I don't get it. There you go. We're back. The LG chocolate, yeah, my mate had the LG chocolate as well, actually, I think. Had one, the Wildfire. Yeah, the Wildfire was terrible. That Diamond was like a mirror. Yeah, it was a really nice cutback, wasn't it? The M8 was a great phone, yeah. Yeah, the DACs were really good. I agree. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I got the. M10. I think it was the HTC 10 was because of the DAC. It was really nice. My one M8 got wet. Oh, sad. Don't you have a topping D10 in the Proton. Yes, I did used to have a topping D10 in the Proton. I then removed it. What did I remove it for some reason? I've now got the topping D10 in the lounge, and I just run Bluetooth to the Proton. But to be honest, I'm not using the Proton at the moment, it's off the road, so that's why I removed the D10. But when I get the Proton back on the road, it will be back in the D10 in the Proton, yes. Anyway, so basically, yes, I do know what HTC stands for, which is pretty cool, but I'd be interested to see if anyone else does. I tested the water with this phone last night. I watched about 1.5 hours of video with the phone completely submerged in water. Nice! Testing out that waterproof claim on that phone. I like to see it. No, so yeah, basically anyway, I need a new phone. And I've been looking around, so basically I've been completely, as you can tell by my list of previous phones, I have been loyal to HTC. However, now, in absence of a current gen flagship from HTC, also, I don't even think I'd go HTC these days, even if they did make a flagship. I will not be getting, obviously, a HTC. So this is the first time, actually, you know what, this is the first time ever since the Touch Diamond. Guys, when did the Touch Diamond come out? Someone Google, when did the HTC Touch Diamond come out? Because that is how long it will be since I'm about to have a non-HTC mobile phone. That is some brand dedication for you. So yeah, I've been looking at what phone to get, and I was a bit torn between a few. There was like 2 or 3 that I was a bit too torn between. And it's not going to be an iPhone, because I really do not like iPhones. Have tried them, don't like them. I'm not an iPhone guy. You know, some guys are iPhone guys, some guys aren't. That's not me. It's not me. So I did consider the Pixel 8 Pro at one point. However, there's a few things against the Pixel 8 Pro for me. So the Pixel 8 Pro, a couple of reasons why I'm not too keen on the Pixel 8 Pro. Firstly, no expandable storage and no headphone jack. Guys, come on, I'm an audiophile. I need a headphone jack. I'm one of those weird guys that needs a headphone jack, right? Most people don't. Most people don't use a headphone jack. I'm one of those weird guys that needs a headphone jack, ideally. I put up with no headphone jack on my U12 Plus because I was brand loyal to HTC, and I was like, you know what, fine, let's give this a go. But no, I really wish I had a headphone jack still to this day. So yes, I'll be trying to get a phone with a headphone jack if I can. Secondly, yeah, don't like that there's no removable storage. In this day and age, especially with the kind of videos and the TikToks I make, man, I eat through storage like no tomorrow. So I need that 2 terabyte SD card, like, you know, I need it. So that's a bit of a bummer. Thirdly, the camera on the Pixel 8 Pro seems to be one of its biggest selling points. And the AI photo editing stuff seems awesome. Like, it looks so fun to play with, and it looks like really cool, and you can do all this crazy cool stuff. However, what they don't show you in the adverts is how long it takes for that AI stuff to process. Like, you're talking about like looking at the phone screen for a good 2 or 3 minutes for some of that AI editing to actually process. And moreover, the photos, even when you don't use the AI stuff, just generally look a bit false. They just have a bit of a look about them that just looks a bit fake and looks a bit processed. I can't really put my finger on it. I've looked at lots of demo pictures, you know, from all these sorts of phones. And yeah, I'm sure that there's ways you can go into manual mode and kind of get around it a bit and make it look how you want, but just in general, they just look a bit fake. And that, combined with the fact that there's no SD card slot, no headphone jack, I don't like how the fingerprint sensor works. From a lot of reviews I've seen, it seems to be a little bit intermittent. Like, getting it to kind of work sometimes can be a bit of a pain. That would really drive me nuts. I need my phone to be open, instantly responsive, ready to go as soon as I am. So I'm kind of gone off the Pixel 8 a little bit, for a few reasons, as I've mentioned. I've looked at a few offerings from, you know, the kind of Xiaomi, Huawei, etc, etc. However, there is one phone that I came across. That pretty much ticks all my boxes. It has a headphone jack. It has expandable storage. It has dual SIM. it has arguably the best enthusiast camera currently on the market in a phone, as reviewed by many photography and phone review channels that actually know a bit about cameras. Has a redonkulously powerful processor, loads and loads of RAM, very powerful phone, decent battery life and an efficient use of that battery, which is important. And weirdly for me, like, my hands are a decent size, but I don't want a phone that's like getting it on to be a tablet. I want a phone that actually fits in my hand, that I can use one-handed. So this is my HTC U12, okay? This is my HTC U12, and I can just about reach from the bottom corner of the screen there to the top. I have to shift the phone. I can just about reach up here. If I can't do that, if I can't reach from here to here in one hand, that's a bit of a killer for me. That's a bit of a game over for me. I honestly need it to fit in my hand. So some phones are a bit too big these days. So there is one phone that ticks every single box that I've listed. And that phone is the Sony Xperia 5 Mark V. I would consider the 1 Mark V, because the 1 Mark V is their flagship, the 4K screen, but it's really massive. It's way too big. Secondly, the 5 Mark V, the one down from that, is a bit smaller. Actually, it has a slightly better battery life because it doesn't have the 4K screen. I don't really care about 4K screen. The display on the Xperia, the latest gen Xperia, looks stunning. Even the one that's not 4K. I don't need a 4K screen in a phone. The pixel density is like ridiculous at that point. So I'll go with the slightly smaller, more compact, easier to handle, smaller screen, and it has the exact same processor and RAM and everything as the 1 Mark V. Just in a slightly smaller size without the 4K screen. So that's the kind of phone that I'm looking at the moment, guys. That's the kind of phone I'm looking at. So I haven't bought anything yet, but really that's the one that ticks the most boxes for me, to be honest. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure there'll be lots of people that are like, "Oh, bro, don't get a Sony. What are you doing? What are you getting a Sony for?" But I've had a play with one in the shop and stuff, and it's responsive, man. It's really responsive. The only thing that I don't like about the Sony, right? I'll tell you the one big thing that the Pixel 8 has over the Sony is the Pixel 8. I think it said something like it has a 7 or 8 year software promise, like their software updates, security updates, etc. will be a very long time on the Pixel 8. But on the Sony, I think it's like, what, 2 or 3 years? I think it might be 2 years they promise software updates, which is like terrible. But I haven't had a software update on my HTC U12 in like, what, 5 years? So do I really care about that? I don't know. The phone still works, so. But yeah, the Sony is not the phone for everyone. Don't get me wrong. I fully am aware that the Sony Xperia will be a terrible phone for a lot of people. However, for an enthusiast, someone that likes to tinker, someone that appreciates all of the super high depth manual tweaking you can do to the camera in video mode and photo mode, like the Sony Xperia phones have pretty much an entire Sony mirrorless camera software on them. The amount of camera software tweak, they've basically made a camera that also can make calls. That's basically what the Sony Xperia 5 is. It has arguably the best camera on the market when it comes to actually being a good straight up camera that you can use your photography skills with and make some stunning photos with. It's not going to be your best point and shoot. Like if you just took the stock camera app and you just snapped a photo in auto mode, the Sony Xperia is not going to give you the most fun, vibrant, best looking poppy photo, because that's not what it's about. That's not what it's designed to do. What are people saying about my about what I just said? Let's have a look. Does sound like a good phone. Phones have gotten really big that my first gimbal can't support them. Yeah, the phones they got massive. I'd kill for an Xperia, but out of my budget. Bevis, look up OnePlus. OnePlus is one that I would consider. However, their software apparently, by multiple sources, has gotten terrible in recent years. So I've been greatly advised by many sources to not go for a OnePlus now. OnePlus were great to buy a while ago, but I've kind of missed that boat, and now those phones are out of date. OnePlus isn't a good buy at the moment, apparently. Nothing phone also is very, very meh in terms of everything, spec-wise and like performance-wise. It has a good, like, the Nothing phone is a good, not sentiment, it's a good thing to buy for the planet and stuff, and you know, it's a good company, but the phone actually itself is kind of meh. Xiaomi are the best for the price. I will check out Xiaomi. I haven't really done too much research into Xiaomi, but like I say, headphone jack is pretty important for me. Expandable storage, super important for me. Camera needs to be super manual mode stuff. Needs to be mega responsive. Needs to be able to fit in my hand. What's up, Brandon? How's it going, buddy? What's your budget for a phone? I don't generally want to spend anywhere over like £400 to £500. And I am fully aware that the Xperia 5 Mark V is like twice that amount of money, but I'm looking at buying one on the slightly used. I generally don't buy things brand new, you see. I am a massive advocate for buying used. I barely ever buy anything brand new. And Simovo2 will testify to this. I had a conversation the other day about cars and stuff. But yeah, I don't buy stuff brand new. Look, guys, this is the phone. This is the phone that I was thinking of buying. This is the eBay listing. So it's currently at $509. It's a bit higher than I wanted to spend, considering this is lightly used. It looks pretty mint. Screen protector. Everything looks pretty mint, including the back. Cameras are mint. The only thing is it's got a couple of very tiny marks to the side, as you can see here, like tiny little dots. And I have seen on eBay these phones, these Xperia 5 Mark V, sell for £450, brand spanking new, never used. So I think $509 is a little bit steep for a used one with a couple of tiny marks on it. So that's why I'm currently holding off. But this is currently the cheapest one on eBay, and it's in the colour that I want. I want the blue one. So I am very tempted to just hit the buy it now button on that one. But I'm just kind of a bit salty because I have seen them sell for less than that brand new on eBay, so I'm a bit like, Someone said that's a lot for 128. Yeah, but the storage isn't super important because it's expandable. So I can drop a 2 terabyte SD card in there and it's like, it's fine, you know. I'm not too bothered, as long as it's not like 64 gigs or some nonsense like that. I'm not too bothered about the internal storage, because all the internal storage will need to do is hold the phone software, the phone UI, the firmware, and my contacts, and like apps that can't go on external storage, and whatever. All of the stuff that's going to be taking up mega space, like media and big apps and stuff, can all be external on the SD card. So I'm not too fussed about the internal memory. That's not a big selling point for me. I'm taking absolutely forever to do this amp because I'm just chatting with you guys, but it's good fun. I enjoy it. I love the chats we have. This honestly makes my work so much more enjoyable, man. Chatting to you guys, shooting the crap, just chatting about stuff, going over some audio bits, going over some other stuff. It's really good fun. see what people are saying. Yeah, I think most phones support cards. They don't. Most phones don't support SD cards because they know, the manufacturers know, well actually there's a couple of reasons that phones don't have SD cards these days. Firstly, is that it's much easier to make phones waterproof if they don't have as many external jacks or external trays or things. So basically to install an SD card slot and then make the phone fully waterproof is a lot more work than just not having. Although, hang on a minute, no, because phones use SD cards, so you need a tray for the SD card. No, sorry, phones use SIM cards, so you need a tray for the SIM card anyway. So it actually doesn't cost anything extra, really, in terms of waterproof ability, to just bloody include an SD card slot in with a SIM slot. Okay, so that's I've just debunked that theory. But yeah, obviously, if you've got expandable storage, then that phone is then very much more useful to you for a lot longer. And at the end of the day, companies want you to buy a new phone as soon as possible. So it's the same as anything. Being able to whack in a 2 terabyte SSD, or maybe even larger than that as times progress, will mean that you end up having the phone probably for longer than if it didn't have expandable storage. So there you go. Some use eSIM now. I have heard of that. That's where you don't actually put a SIM card in the phone, isn't it? You do something else with it and it has a SIM card. Where the heck is this MOSFET doesn't have a pad. Oh, I need to get one out of my drawer. Must have dropped on the floor or something. Build up. 25 Hertz to Life says wait and you'll get a better price. Yeah, I'm tired of waiting though. I've needed a new phone for like 6 months now. My phone is like doing my head in. The compatibility of updated apps is getting worse. It's kind of slow. It crashes a lot. I can't have a Facebook Messenger audio call because the phone restarts after like 20 seconds. Like, it is bad. So I need a new phone ASAP. Overbuilt automotive. I like my unlocked Umidigi. It has output jack, a big battery, rugged Bison model, 250 bucks or so. I'll check it out, but it needs to be flagship tier hardware for me. Have you looked at CX? Yeah, there's nothing on CX at the moment, unfortunately. Actually, this one on eBay that I was considering buying, but I'm a bit salty about the price, actually was from CX. Look, this guy purchased from CX in February. So this person did purchase it from CX, and I'm wondering how much they spent at CX. I'm wondering whether they got it cheaper at CX and they're kind of flipping it on eBay. Oh, and a 2-year guarantee from CX. That's a good point as well, actually, about getting from CX. Get insurance once you decide to buy it. It's covered on my house insurance anyway. So, no need. No need. At least you don't have a boss telling you to stop yapping and start working. Exactly, bro. I'll tell you, working for yourself is the dream. Even if it's not the most lucrative thing, it's like the dream. What's your opinion on some of the cheaper phones selling data? Haven't really looked too much into it, but I'd rather not that if it were me, if I had the choice. My Pixel 3a has an eSIM and I hated it. Yes, you have dual SIM capability, but activation was usually a pain. Run some ads, get that phone today. I don't think even if I ran 10 ads I'd get much money off that phone. I don't know how much money running an ad does, but I have 4 phones, all the way from 2018 to last year, all still perfectly usable. I don't. I have one phone that's usable, one HTC M10 that has a battery that doesn't hold a single bit of charge. It won't even actually turn on charge because it's that dead. And the one before that is the M8, which is like super out of date. I'm the guy that likes new stuff for no reason at all, babe. It's Henrik. Yeah, I was speaking to my good friend of mine, Donnell. Actually, no, that's a lie. He doesn't like new stuff for no reason. Just likes new stuff every now and then. But I'm super the opposite. I am like, I want to squeeze absolutely every last bit of value out of my hard-earned pounds that I have in the UK. So buying new rarely ever makes sense for me, because I know that I could get something twice as good for that same amount of money that someone else has just used for a little bit of time, and I don't really mind that. I will rarely ever buy anything brand new. One of the few things I bought that was brand new, I bought my projector brand new a long time ago now. My projector's old now, but one thing that I bought brand new that I thought, you know what, no, let's just buy this brand new, was my projector, because projectors typically, to replace the bulb on them, is like a good fraction of the price of a new projector. So I didn't want to buy a used projector and find that I had to replace the bulb pretty soon, and then that amount of money could have just bought me a new projector. So I bought a new projector because it wears out. You know, the bulb is like high cost, wears out. So I did buy a new projector when I bought my projector, but I rarely buy stuff that's new. I buy new food. I don't buy used food. Food's good to buy new, I find. And I don't like buying used cookery items. I don't like buying things used that have been near people's orifices, you know? And I guess phones have been near people's orifices, but you can disinfect a phone really quickly and effectively. You know, it's just a slab of metal and glass in it. So, but yeah, provided it's not been near someone's orifice or like absorbed any of their bodily bacteria, then typically I'll buy it used. Laser projector, yes, would be the way to go these days, but at the time that I was buying a projector, that wasn't really an option. Buying new is stupid, but I do it anyway. Well, Henrik, I am really, really happy that you are in the position where you can buy new. That's awesome, and that's really cool that you have got yourself to the point where you can buy stuff new, and it's like, yeah, it's stupid, but it feels good. It does feel good to buy stuff new. Like, yeah, man, it's awesome to buy stuff new, because it feels good. It's yours. No one else has used that before. Just you. It's your thing. You know exactly what's happened to it from the day that it started life. You know what has happened to that thing, and that's great. But you do pay a big premium for that. But if you can afford to pay a premium for that, then that's fucking awesome. You've done a great job in getting yourself to that point in life where you can do that. That's wicked. Use toilet seat. Yeah, well, there you go. I'm not quite at that stage yet. Cleaning a phone is actually very difficult. Oh really? Educate me. I know that obviously some of the like the microphone ports and the head, you know, the earpiece can obviously be a little bit tricky to clean, but for the most part, especially if it's a waterproof phone, a bit of IPA and a toothbrush probably gets it good. Right, shall we turn this Planet Audio on and see if it produces sine waves on the outputs? And then once we've done that, let's have a look. Inputs, channel 1. Let's go over here, channel 1. We're going to go for flat on the mode. Sensitivity is high sensitivity. Bass boost off. Level is midpoint, roughly there or thereabouts. High pass off. Flat. Sensitivity. So there's our 4 channel. Okay, there's our 4 channel. Do we have a switch that tells it just to clone channels 1 and 2 to 3 and 4? I don't think we do. Sadly not. No worries. That's fine. Power on. 10 volts. Remote wire going in. Power this bad boy up. 0.6 amps of idle. That's nice. Means we haven't got overlap. We haven't got too much overlap on these new transistors, which is cool. Okay, so we have Class D switching. we have PWM. We have a Class D switching frequency of 397 Hertz. Nah, it's just because my frequency generator is turned up way too high for the amount of gain on this. So yeah, this is nice clean sine wave on the outputs there. Channel 1. Let's switch over to channel 2. Make sure that looks good as well. Yep, channel 2 looking nice and clean. Channel 3. Over this side, beautiful. And channel 4, go on. Yay! Nice clean sine waves all round. So yeah, just had one channel with dead transistors replaced and good to go. Do you want to tell us how much you make on Amplifier business? Yeah, absolutely, for sure, man. It's not a lot. I make between 25,000 and 30,000 pounds per year after tax and stuff. I pay all of my taxes, including all of my eBay sales. Basically, anything that could even possibly be slightly related to business, I claim on to the tax man, because I don't want the hassle of it coming back to bite me. So, and I don't do a lot outside of repairs, so it wouldn't be making that much of a difference anyway to be worth risking. So yeah, it's not a lot. It's like a bit more than minimum wage, I guess. But although it doesn't make me a lot of money, I am super rich in freedom, free time. I can work when I like. I can go to the theme park on the random day of the week when I want. I don't have anyone telling me what I can and can't do. And honestly, that freedom, that ability to wake up in the morning when your body naturally wakes you up, like you just sleep until you're ready to wake up. You sleep and then you're like, oh yeah, that was a good sleep. Okay, I'm ready to start the day now. I think I'm ready to get up now. You go make some breakfast and you think, what do I want to do today? Today I'm gonna go to the park. Today let's go for a road trip. Just spontaneous, let's go for our road trip today, guys. Yeah, let's do. Or you could just be like, no, you know what, today I've got a cool amp to work on. I'm going to do some amp repair. I'm going to make a video today. I'm going to not do anything. I'm going to stay in bed all day today. Or I'm going to play some Legend of Zelda today. I'm going to play some VR today. Man, I'll tell you what, having the ability to do that is worth a hit on your income. It's worth something, right? Like, I would not want to make double what I'm currently earning and have like a 9 to 5, or have like a job where I've got to be somewhere every day and travel and stuff. I would happily take half of that potential earn what I'm earning now, and have this life. I'm able to comfortably support myself and enjoy some nice things in life that I enjoy, some nice speakers, eating out once in a while. You know, not thinking too much about the bills and stuff. I mean, and being able to have that freedom is good. It's good. What about savings and pensions? Well, the pension and the savings, well, it's just what you put aside. You've got to be sensible with money. So this kind of lifestyle, like I say, it only works for someone that is sensible with money. So where I say I'll never buy anything brand new, so I buy everything used that I generally can. And I am very, like, I don't like buying something if I can't sell it for the same or more than what I paid for it. Sometimes obviously you can't get around that. Obviously food, you're going to consume it. So, but I don't like spending a lot of money on things that just disappear, like food or clothes. Buying clothes, you buy something, a piece of shirt for £40, gone. You can't really sell that for anywhere near what you just paid for that. I might get £5 on Vinted or something like that. So clothes, don't spend big money on. Food, try and save money where you can. Buy the reduced aisle, cook everything from scratch, etc. But I do enjoy some luxuries because I will buy things. I don't mind buying a pair of Martin Logan electrostat speakers for like £1,500. I can afford to buy them. I have the money there to buy them. But I can get that money back. I haven't spent it because I still have the electrostats that I can sell even after 4 years for about £1,500. So I haven't spent any money. I've just kind of borrowed them. I've exchanged some money. I've got my electrostatic speakers. Oh yes, 4 years of pure enjoyment bliss, of audio bliss. And then if I needed the money, I can sell them again for about the same as what I paid. That's how I work. I buy something and I'll only generally buy it if I can sell it for about the same as what I paid for it. There are some exceptions to that. Mobile phones, obviously you want to use that for like 4, 5, 6 years in my case. You're never going to be able to sell it for the same as what you bought it for. But buying a phone for £500 and having 4, 5, 6 years of use of that, that's like £100 a year. That's affordable. What does that work out to per month? Very little. So that's affordable. You just got to be clever, and that way you can build up savings. As long as I am bringing in more than I am spending out, then your savings just gradually accumulate. And provided nothing terrible happens in your life, you never know what's around the corner. You know, you can't necessarily like plan for everything. You know, something terrible might happen. You might have to end up like spending all your savings on something, and those sorts of things suck, right? But you know, you just got to kind of play it as it comes. Good food doesn't have to be expensive. Typically the most expensive food is actually the bad food. Honestly, good food is so cheap. Good food is really, really cheap. Good food is fresh ingredients and you make it yourself, and that is really cheap. That doesn't cost much at all. Make big batches. Make big massive curries, like 10 portion lot of curry, freeze it. Tastes amazing. And it's good food, it's good for you, nutritious, doesn't cost much. The expensive food is eating out, fast food, ready meals, stuff that's processed. That's expensive food. That's not the cheap food. That's expensive food and it's crap. The good food is actually cheap. IPA is not magic. I have studied the question and there is no magic disinfectant. IPA 70% is a way better disinfectant than 99%. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. I just assumed that the higher alcohol content would be more killing of the germs. You know what I mean? That's interesting. I just assumed that 99.9% IPA would just eradicate anything that was like alive. But yeah, guys, that was a really enjoyable stream. Didn't really do a great deal of repair stuff, but we had some good chats. And I had a great time. Really, really enjoyable stream with you guys. Appreciate you as always. Thanks for spending my Saturday night with me. Yeah, we're going to catch you a bit later on, probably on a Tuesday or Wednesday this week. I'll drop another stream. Might even drop a spontaneous stream on a Monday or something. I tend to not really know when I'm going to stream. Like I say, I just kind of wake up and do whatever I fancy doing every day. So I might stream one day, I might not. But typically it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday next week. We'll do a stream. So yeah, we'll catch you then. And just before we go, guys, if you could do me one favor and help me out buying this Sony Xperia 5 Mark V, I'm going to press the add button just before we go. So guys, thanks very much for joining me in tonight's stream. I will catch you next week. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend and see you later. And for those of you that haven't got an advert, ballin' ass, YouTube Premium, ad block, guys, peace out. See you next time.